Hey, ZmanTheVegan here today, or Zach, whatever you want to call me. And today I'm going to be talking about the most terrifying nightmares I've ever had. The last one I'm going to be talking about is incredibly terrifying. You should stay till the end because you will not regret it once you hear it. So, I've been having consistent nightmares recently, and I believe it's due to the nicotine withdrawals and quitting weed recently. I always have scary nightmares or weird dreams whenever I quit weed. And yeah, so the most recent dream I had actually wasn't scary. I dreamt that I knew Penguin or Charlie, the YouTuber, personally. It was kind of funny. I don't remember what happened, but anyway, nightmares. So the most recent nightmare I've had was I experienced being in hell, damnation. And in this dream specifically, it was a very abstract hell. It was like, I can't even explain the visualizations fully. It was very weird. It was like I was at multiple places at once. But basically, it was like a dollhouse. And in this dollhouse, in each room, there's different demons. And at first, I didn't know I was in hell. It was like just a bunch of like temptations. And then once I realized I was in hell, I tried to get out of there. And every single time I'd try to jump out of the dollhouse, the window, or go through a door, I'd go right back to where I was. And it was just this feeling of being trapped and forever being trapped. And then I woke up and I still had that feeling. It was like my entire body was so stressed out that I felt like it was on fire. My mental state of mind was like, I literally believed I was in hell. I was like, is this reality or is this hell? And it's not hell. Look, this is beautiful. Not hell, beautiful. I'm not crazy. The next dream I had before that was also another dream about being in hell, but this one was different. It was about robots. Basically, robots took over the world, and their only purpose was to make my life a living hell. So what they did was they cut out everybody's brains, including mine, and they rewired everybody's brains inside of the world to make their only purpose to make my life a living hell. Everybody in the world's brain was rewired to hate me and to chase me down and torture me. And my brain was cut out and rewired to where my capacity for suffering was increased, or the amount of suffering I could experience. And with that dream too, I woke up and I felt just this incredible amount of dread and anxiety, as if I woke up from the dream, but this reality still just felt incredibly unpleasant. Luckily, that feeling does dissipate and go away after I woke up. I take a breath and I pet an animal. I think about my son. I look at the sky and I realize I'm blessed. So, yeah, I've had a number of dreams about hell or just damnation or being trapped, but this last nightmare that I'm going to share is the most terrifying one I've ever had because it was real to a certain extent. So this one happened whenever I was 18 years old, about 11 years ago, and I was living at my parents' house then too, and I was sleeping in my room. And well, I was just falling asleep, and I fell asleep facing the window. And basically it starts out where I have a sleep paralysis episode. For those of you that don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's basically where you start to fall asleep, but your mind's not asleep, but your body's asleep. So you can't move your body, but your mind's still awake. So your eyes are open and you see the room like as if you're awake, and sometimes you hallucinate and see like demons or creatures and scary stuff. But what happened to me was I fell asleep like looking out the window. Like I fell asleep facing the window, but whenever the sleep paralysis episode happened, it looked exactly the same in real life as whenever I fell asleep, but my mom was outside the window, and it was my mom with pitch black eyes, and she was beating on the window, screaming at me to come outside. And behind her the sky was pitch black and there was a tornado that was like tearing everything apart. And my mom's like screaming, like with pure rage and anger and hate at me to come outside. And then I woke up and my mom was gone, the tornado was gone, it was just a window and the night sky. And I was like, oh, that was really creepy. I'm gonna turn around and not fall asleep facing the window. So then it doesn't end there, it gets worse. I started to go back to sleep and it started to get cold inside the room, which was weird because like it wasn't cold that night, and the fan was on, and you know that sound of like the ocean or the seashell, or whenever you have an ear infection, it's like whoosh, whoosh. It's like you feel this sensation of like swishing, and I started to hear that as I was dozing off to sleep. But this sound and this sensation started to turn into a chant, a very demonic, like disoriented chant that was incredibly disturbing. But I was like halfway asleep and halfway awake, so I didn't even realize that was happening. It was just getting louder and louder, like it was getting louder until the point where it was like screaming in some like demonic language, and it woke me up. And I realized I was speaking the demonic language. It was like I started speaking it. And whenever I woke up, I had the chills and I was sweating and it was cold and I was incredibly disturbed. And then I went back to sleep and nothing happened. That was the scariest nightmare I've ever had. So if you've had any scary nightmares, or if you're quitting nicotine and having crazy dreams, leave them down below. What do you think happened to me? Am I crazy? Maybe I just feel trapped in life, and past trauma has created these nightmares and these experiences. Or maybe demons are trying to make me feel like I'm going into hell. Maybe I am in hell. No, I'm not in hell. This is a beautiful reality. We are blessed. So thank you for listening. Please leave a comment down below. For the animals! Woo!